Welcome to the Remote Work Life podcast, where real-world remote work CEOs and leaders talk about how they collaborate, thrive, and build their businesses. Join me and thousands of followers from around the world to learn skills you need to work online from anywhere. I'm your host, Alex Wilson-Campbell. I'm an interview coach and tech recruiter on a mission to help you gain clarity and direction in your career and uncover hidden jobs through one-to-one and group coaching. And today I want to introduce you to a conversation, or part of a conversation I had with Pilar Orti, who is the director of Virtual Not Distant. And Pilar is known as an expert in the world of remote work, and essentially Virtual Not Distant help teams to adapt to the new way of working. And I thought it was really good to really connect with Pilar, because obviously there's lots of people that have found themselves in a situation where now they're working remotely, and managers especially who perhaps have been used to working as part of a co-located team are having to adapt and adjust to the new way of work. And the conversation I'm about to share with you, or the portion of the conversation I'm about to share with you, talks about some of the expectations, I guess, now that you as a manager or you as a member of a remote team has gone from being co-located to being a member of a remote team. So listen in and see what you think. But as a manager, what should I be looking to do? What does my new role look like in terms of managing my once co-located team to my, now remote team?
Yeah. So yes, and that's interesting in itself, because it suddenly, okay, what am I here for? So, okay, am I here to check that everyone is working? Well, probably not, but actually you probably are there to support people, to make sure they have access to the information and contacts that they might need. So it's almost, you start to adopt the role of facilitator, the role of coach, in the beginning, the role of ecosystem manager or ecosystem DJ, making sure that you've got all the systems in place so people can communicate as easily as possible.
So that was Pilar Orti there, who is, as I mentioned before, director with Virtual Not Distant. What did you think of that little snippet there, that little segment about the characteristics and the real, I suppose, the main attributes that now, I suppose, that remote work is very much on the cards, the attributes that are required of remote managers in order to help their teams to thrive? And in fact, probably what you'll notice is that those attributes mentioned by Pilar are attributes that are required by some of the very best some of the best leaders, whether they're remote leaders or not. So she mentioned support, being supportive. I mean, that's for me a given. If you're a manager of a team, that's something that is a must. You want to feel as though, if you're in a team and you have a manager, you want to feel as though you are supported. You have that guidance, that person to turn to when things are not going right, as well as that person who can help you to overcome any, I suppose, challenges that you might be facing on a day-to-day basis. So support for me is a prerequisite for any manager, whether they be remote or not. But obviously, that's one of the things that you as a manager, now that you're working in a remote team, that's going to have to really come out. That's really going to have to be brought to bear in your interactions with the people in your team. Another thing that Pilar mentioned, is really being what she called a facilitator. So the person who, rather than is dictating in many ways, or at least micromanaging, what you're really doing is you're juggling different projects, different tasks. You're being the person to coordinate those things and helping the team collaborate at their best. So yeah, that's an important attribute for any leader. But now that you're working remotely or as a remote manager, that's one of the things that you're going to have to really, again, bring to the fore when you're actually helping to guide your team. You're facilitating your team. You're not on top of them. You are that person who is there for them and is making sure things are ticking along nicely. One thing that she mentioned is an ecosystem DJ. I quite like that idea, where you're just spinning different things and really being the person that people look to hear about how things are going, but at the same time, as any good DJ, you also want to hear from your audience and what they want as well. So it's an ecosystem DJ. I like that little analogy there that Pilar put together. And for me, the biggest one that she mentioned is a coach. And I think, again, that's a trait of some of the best leaders, whether they're remote or not. So for me, it's something that I look to or look for when I'm joining a new team, is somebody who can really help to coach me, to mentor me. And again, some of the best leaders have that as a key attribute. But even more so now that you're working as a remote team, as a remote manager, you're going to have to coach people along. You're going to have that empathy, be in a position where you can listen to what they're doing and listen to their concerns and help them get through those concerns and show them a path to get from where they are now to where they will be. So yeah, it's lots of good things in there, things to think about, things to consider. As I mentioned, a lot of the things that Pilar mentioned in that little snippet are the attributes of some of the very best leaders in the world, no matter where they might be, whether they're co-located or remote. So yeah, that's it from me for today, and I will speak to you soon. That's it for today's episode of the Remote Work Life podcast. If you want to watch exclusive on-demand video, including fireside chats and online lessons given by real-world remote work leaders, future of work experts and coaches, head over to www.remoteworklife.io. You'll learn how to get clarity on your career direction, how to thrive in a remote work culture, how to stay connected and develop and support your remote work teammates, and how to tend to your physical and mental health needs. Go to remoteworklife.io now, and remember to connect with me, your host, Alex Wilson Campbell, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube.